Hello guys from Ukraine. My name is Orest and with this video I'm starting a large expedition to the east of Ukraine, where currently we have the center of the largest military force and largest military action happening in Europe since the World War II. As you know, Russia invaded Ukraine. Our country is suffering tremendous devastation, and I am, as a war journalist, traveling in those areas to present the things from the local perspective and to show more in-depth information about the current events down here, because many people are kind of starting to have this informational fatigue, being really tired of war. I am aware of that. However, I will try to make this expedition kind of interesting and insightful so you can understand things much better. I'm joined with my friend Hrvoje from Croatia. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you. And do you know the location where we are now?
Yes, we are now at in Poltava. This is the location of the famous Poltava battle.
Correct. So let me tell you more about this event, because this is very important, and actually the battle in Poltava marks a turning point in the history not only of Ukraine, not only of Russia, and not even only of Sweden that took part in it, but also in the history of the entire Eastern Europe in the early 18th century. At the turn of the 18th century, Sweden, and rather to say Moscow duchy, better than Russian by that time, because that was the official name of the country, were fighting for the dominance of northeastern part of Europe. They were in a fierceful northern war. Sweden was doing some advances in the areas of modern-day Belarus, Ukraine. However, once they reached a turning point around the city of Poltava, where we are now. And in the end of the line, the forces of Peter I, then a Tsar of Moscow Kingdom, prevailed. They fought against the Swedes. The outcome of the Poltava battle meant the fall and the decline of Swedish Empire and the emergence of a regional power as the Moscow Kingdom, which later evolved into the Russian Empire. And here is important to speak more precisely. Because of the winning in the Battle of Poltava, Moscow had a new chance to expand south and occupy much more of Ukraine in comparison to then backed controlled territories. Peter I, the Tsar of Moscow Kingdom back then, had a vision to create a global power. That's why it was crucial to win against the Swedes. That's why it was crucial to hold Poltava as his base to further exploration to the south, and later on getting the access to the Black Sea. Actually, this is supposed to be the monument of him, and just for you to explain how Ukrainians people respect others, is that they cover the monument just in case to protect it if there is some kind of shelling happening. Similar things is possible to see all around Ukraine when our people, Ukrainians, in order to preserve the cultural heritage, make and take these kind of measures. So now when Russia is invading Ukraine, telling that we are killing somebody as culture is absolutely dishonest and doesn't have any proof behind it. Actually, many monuments are protected the same way in my native city of Lviv, and I have the entire video explaining the UNESCO heritage of our city and the way how we are trying to protect it. So if you're interested in architecture and culture, please, I invite you to take a look at that. And here comes the most interesting part. So, getting the military advantage in the area, Peter, Tsar, decided to proclaim Russian Empire. And the Battle of Poltava happened in 1709. And by 1721, Russian Empire was officially declared. Please take a note. The word Russia defining the jurisdiction, the country, only started to be officially used since 1729. By this act, Russia kind of proclaimed itself the only successor of Kievska Rus, Kiev Ruthenia, which was a powerful medieval kingdom, and even the name tells us, yes, that the center was in Kiev. But in general, what we see now in this war in Ukraine is that Vladimir Putin, he actually told on the media that he put himself at the same position with Peter, who later became the Great, as the person who is gathering all the Russian lands. But guys, just reminding you, starting from 1721, the area which is now called Russia became to do so. All the way until then, since the Kievan Rus, it was nothing more than the Moscow duchy or Moscow kingdom. I know it sounds too complicated, and there is no way I can persuade you now that modern Russia doesn't have anything to do with ancient Kiev Ruthenia, but the winner writes the history. And the history was written in the way that Russia was always a dominating force, starting from the middle of the 18th century. However, we have to remember that Ukrainian culture is much more ancient and much more advanced than the Russian one. When everything started in Kiev and it was already dominating a large metropolis, at the place where it is now, only the trees were growing at the place where later on Moscow appeared. So current war is actually the chance for us to restore the historical truth. And I would like to state a sentence that is written just over here in one of the monuments. And we see
Час лікує рани, вічна пам'ять хоробрим воїнам, полеглим у Полтавській битві.
which means the time cures the scars. Memory to the soldiers who died during the Poltava battle. You see, it's written to the fallen soldiers of Swedish army in 1709. And the place here is simply astonishing. Look at this. Great resting place. Well, the time really cures, and it will take many generations for Russian people to restore their faith, their dignity, because of all the terrible things their soldiers are committing in Ukraine. I personally visited the occupied areas around Kiev, Bucha, Irpin, and seen it by my own eyes, and you can also see in one of my previous videos. And also this event, this video, starts the trip to other areas in the east of Ukraine where currently the heaviest battles are happening. So this will be in one of my upcoming videos, and at the moment I invite you for the short ride and check out the Poltava city itself. Now we are actually entering the city, and those are the post-Soviet districts which look pretty similar to most of the towns in Ukraine, with some public transport, the trams, the buses. The life goes on here its own way, pretty active. So yeah, we are going here, and we're gonna stop in the hospital right now. So In the car we have a lot of bunch useful things, as you can see. This all will be used on the expedition. However, now here we approach the hospital and I'm going to make some small delivery of bandages and other things that are useful for this, you know, like minor medical assistance. Poltava is actually located not far from the front line. Kharkiv, which is badly damaged, is only 2 hours drive, so there is a constant flow of people who are injured. And the things that I'm bringing now actually came all the way from Bulgaria, where my friend Atanas kindly donated a few of medical supplies. So let's take it. This is the bandages. Atanas, regards to you. This actually was just an example how things work out in Ukraine during the war. Everybody's contributing, everybody's helping, you know, people collect medical supplies, people collect other things. And do you remember when I was in Zagreb and we actually were traveling around the capital of Croatia buying all tactical gloves in the city? That was cool, right?
Yeah. We were wandering around and checking every store, getting as much as possible. So we were basically depleting all the stores from the gloves. Yeah.
And yeah, this is the case. Also, people donate cars, people donate all the types of ammunition they can get. Recently, we bought a van for the orphanage near Lviv. So there are simply so many things can be done for the war. Unfortunately, it feels like the war is, you know, a pit without any bottom, because the scale is simply impressive. However, if everybody contributes a little bit financially, with some particular things they can, the skills, this really makes a difference. And if you feel like, for example, what can I do? I'm sitting in another country feeling helpless, I can, guys, tell you, you can support our team directly for us to enable and to continue. This is what we are already doing. Simply follow the links below this video, check what are the options to do so, and consider supporting us. That will be a great contribution and help as well.
Thank you.
Now, when we deserve, it's time for food, but we will combine it with some historical and cultural exploration. So simply take a look what I've got. I have here borscht, Russian salad, halushki, and Hrvoje has vareniki and another very quirky salad. Do you have idea what's that?
No, not at all. So this is some kind of cabbage salad?
No, you try to open it.
Open it?
Yeah, open. Go all the way deep inside.
What is that?
There is some fish, some cheese, some mayo, and try.
Actually, very good.
Interesting, right?
Very good, yeah. But what is that as well? It's kind of very weird taste. I don't know.
This is uzvar. So uzvar is
like
traditional Ukrainian drink, which is made on a dried fruits, pear, apple, and so on. But let's continue. So we always start with a salad in Ukraine, and I deliberately took olivier, the Russian salad, as known in the entire world. However, it was created by the French chef in Moscow some time ago. That's why many people have this kind of association is that. And here I have no complaints at all. However, there is a big fight over borscht between Russia and Ukraine. So as you know, borscht is very heavy red beet soup. It's very tasty, and it has parts of meat, cabbage, potato, and beetroot, obviously. Recently, borscht was officially declared the Ukrainian heritage by UNESCO. So eventually this fight is over. Another unique feature of Ukraine are halushki. So take a look at these parts. These are kind of like big ravioli with some meat inside, yes. And this is very traditional food, especially for Poltava. So the place where we are now looks kind of sketchy, but this is the most favorite and delicious place for halushki. And my friend doesn't eat meat, but you took something different. So you took vareniki. You see those are vareniki. And how is it?
It's very good. Although I don't know what is it, but it is good.
Oh my god, they're so tasty. Ukrainian food, guys, is simply amazing. Just for you to know, it is rather not spicy, based on different fatty stuff, includes a lot of potato, bread. Basically, those are the ingredients that our country is rich for. Add here a little bit of true love of the chefs, and in the outcome, you receive an amazing meal. Yeah. Just like this, and we found ourselves in another very special place. You might be wondering, what the hell is this? Well, this is a restaurant of our hotel where we stay, and hotel has a name Aristocrat. When my friend Hrvoje seen this the first time, he was so impressed and thought like, what? How in Ukraine you can have these kind of places? Well, guys, the reason is that Ukraine is a normal, nice, beautiful country with, there are some cheap and badly damaged or like really rustic places, but at the same time there are world-class places, and it shows the beauty of our country, how diverse is it, yeah, how undiscovered it is in many different situations. What's so funny? Like this doesn't exist in Zagreb, no?
No, it exists. It exists. But this way of bourgeois life that we are leading now, this one day, only one day after this long and exhausting trip, this is kind of, you know, tragicomic, I would say.
I'm not sure about the tragicomic.
Okay.
It's rather about that life goes on, even if there is war in the country, you know. And not far away from here, the city of Kharkiv, where we are planning to go, which is constantly being shelled through the entire period of the war. Some soldiers are living in trenches, while only like 2-hour drive away, you have a pretty normal city where people keep up with their daily routine. So I invite you outside to check out the central part of Poltava. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, and this is, guys, one of the central areas of Poltava. Looks like this is some kind of theater. We'll see the front line, our hotel, as you've seen. Kids are running around, life goes on. Absolutely normal, at least as normal as it can get. Nice square, well-maintained flowers, as you can see, and beautiful architecture, you see, which goes back to the late 19th century probably. Eventually, when Poltava area and the surrounding parts of Ukraine have been captured by Russia after the Battle of Poltava that I already told you about, this part, we call it left bank Ukraine, became a very prosperous land because it used to serve as the, you know, kind of like logistical place for trade between the coast of the Black Sea, the Moscow, which was the capital, and later St. Petersburg, Petrograd, since then. Also, in the early times, those areas were very sparsely populated, while starting from the 18th century, more and more people settled here. Cities became very lively with different trade sections. And the streets here show us how Poltava was already looking more or less back in the 19th century. Back then, Poltava was one of the biggest regional centers down here, and by the end of the 1800s, there were over 50,000 people living here, giving it a relatively decent size for that time. Life were going normal as it is now. Coffee shops, bars, restaurants, different businesses. Absolutely healthy city, guys. As you can see, some estates with beautiful arches. Also take a look at the street. It's completely made of the cobblestone, which is very normal and feels kind of even native for my city of Lviv, where I was born. So how do you like it?
Oh, I like it very much. I was actually enjoying the flowers over there. It looks very beautiful, very Central European actually.
Even though it is city in the east of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Important thing to note, guys, is that Poltava is among a few large cities in the east of Ukraine which is relatively untouched by current war. That's pretty unique situation, and there can be a few explanations around it. One of them is, of course, the geography. Yeah, it's still kind of hundreds kilometers from the border. Secondly, is that the area around Poltava, even though it became densely populated in the later centuries, comparing to Kiev area or west in Lviv, is kind of considered to be the cradle of Ukrainian modern language, of Ukrainian classic culture. Tomorrow we are going to start our trip north of Poltava, visiting the surrounding rural areas, and we will go much deeper in this topic. But why I mentioned this in regards to current safety situation in the city is that Russian forces currently cannot go to the places which receives zero of their support. Yeah, they kind of go to the places where they still might expect that this belongs to them. However, the fact that they don't even attempt to arrive here tells that they even don't claim, and there is no chance they can go that far inland. In the middle of the park we found a really cool stuff. So this is a practicing mode before our expedition to the east. Yes, Hrvoje, you can do it, come on, you can make it. Okay, let me try. Okay, so now it's my turn. We put the button, the bullet, close it, and no, one more.
Стреляй орки. Yeah!
You see, now we are ready to go further, closer to the border. We were just presented with this kind of gun. You can show it better, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually the practice one over here, but our soldiers in Ukraine really use it on the front line. So yeah, it has some place for bullets over here, and the model is the PPSH gun, as I understand. Can you turn, please, to show it a little bit better? It's a serious stuff. Yeah, wow, so it's even used now. Can you believe it? Okay, let's leave it and go.
Слава Украине.
Героям слава. This is Kalina. This is actually the famous tree, Червона Kalina. Червона is red, which is like probably the main hero of most of songs and national tales in Ukraine. And it's also one of your favorite songs too, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm wondering why this probably our audience will also want to know why this particular plant is a symbol of Ukraine.
I believe because it's widespread, it grows all around. People can do jams from
Yeah.
its berries, yes. They can boil it, and use some kind of these sticky things to cure when you get cold and so on. So yeah, Kalina is like, if you think of the most Ukrainian tree, this is like that one, Kalina. Here is another interesting feature. We see a monument and it's clearly written occupant, like I don't have to translate it, right? So, and if I take a look closer, it's written that Peter I, Tsar, was going through, obviously looks like this street after the Battle of Poltava. So this is symbolism to the glory of Russian nation. However, now it rather doesn't make local population proud of. Maybe this monument will be demolished in the nearest future, or maybe it can be used with some attachment, to put the memory plate of Ukrainian soldiers, for example, who died during our war. We'll see. but definitely now it's not something what is nice to experience and to watch during the times when your country is at war. This is written, for example, Russian warship, go fuck yourself. Obviously, you know this slogan, which became one of the most important phrases of this war. And that's what happens with occupiers and aggressors on Ukrainian land. And this is, guys, is the monument to Ivan Mazepa, the hetman of Ukrainian Cossacks. He is also a very important person in Ukrainian history, which goes back to the Battle of Poltava, of course, as everything in this town. So, since parts of Ukraine back then were already the vassal of Moscow Kingdom, Hetman Mazepa was kind of like under the jurisdiction of the Tsar. So he was supposed to help with the Cossack army fighting against the Swedes. But for a hetman, it was a chance to gain independence of Ukraine. So at the crucial moment, he joined the Swedish army, thus betraying the Russians and fighting on the Swedish army side. Unfortunately, as you know, we lost in this war. So Hetman Mazepa was cursed in the official like Orthodox Church of Russia and was called a betrayer for many centuries to follow. However, for Ukrainians, he is a national hero because even his step all the way back 300 years ago contributed to our future independence, which happened actually not so long time ago. Ukrainian independence was restored, as you remember, in 1991. And face of this person you can see on the banknote of 10 hryvnias. As you can see, it serves as the humanitarian center inside, guys. Now there is mass happening, but at the same time, there is so many things that help people on the front line. Looks impressive, right?
It's like the humanitarian center with so many, goods here and in the church. I'm like speechless.
This is the example how the old traditional Ukrainian house used to look like in those areas in the left Ukraine. I see that they're having a lot of fun, and this is Mrs. Yanina. Yanina recognized me watching from that fence and told, Orest, come, please visit us. So nice to see you. Thank you for letting us in. And this is the monument to Ivan Kotlяревsky. He is the father of classical Ukrainian language. He lived here in Poltava at the turn of the 19th century, and also thanks to him, now we have such a beautiful and melodical language, which is actually considered to be one of the most beautiful in the world. And I'm not telling this just from my patriotic point of view, but there was a conference in the 30s in Paris where Ukrainian language together with Italian and French were officially recognized one of the most melodic in the world. So ladies are having the photo shoot over here, and I cannot imagine the more beautiful place than this one. Simply stunning. Slowly but surely we are approaching to the end of our visit of Poltava. As for me, I'm here just for the second time, but I'm impressed in a positive way how beautiful and how lively Poltava is, considering the situation in Ukraine at the moment. Just look at this, what's happening around. Yeah, we have a nice vantage point from where we can explore the entire other sections of the city. This is east. Below the horizon there is Kharkiv, there is Russian border, and there are areas that are in a very, very dangerous war. Hrvoje is probably impressed with the city, as I see on his face. So are the citizens of Poltava. You see, this is the end of another beautiful day. They are calmly walking around, enjoying themselves and enjoying the surrounding scenery. In order to appreciate and understand better the local atmosphere in Poltava, I'm going to read you the statement just next to this arch. It is written: «Де згода в сімействі, де мир і тишина, щасливі там люди, блаженна сторона». In English it means where is mutual understanding in the family, where is peace and quiet, there people are happy and everybody is satisfied. This is actually what people in Poltava now and in Ukraine really want, and we deserve for this, because Ukrainians are in their nature very, very peaceful people. However, with the external aggression, we are forced to make this kind of resistance. And once it's happening, nothing can stop Ukrainians. So better to watch out, and I'm sure once the war will be over, we will be back to a beautiful, peaceful conditions and a prosperous future. The story will develop and the history will be written. I'm sure that Poltava will only prosper in the nearest future. So do as Ukraine. Unfortunately, we are in war at the moment. However, this is the crucial time that we are living through. And if you ask me in particular, I am feeling kind of grateful to be the witness of those turbulent changes. So guys, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's walk around Poltava. Please pay a visit to this city and we will carry on, because starting from tomorrow we are going to more eastern places of Ukraine, closer to the front line. Let's stay safe, let's stay tuned, and please subscribe to this channel if you didn't do so. Don't forget to like the video, and looking forward to see you in the upcoming editions of our exploration of Ukraine. See you!